Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live Q&A. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know what you do. My name is Clint, and I help producers monetize their music by teaching them how to produce, prepare, and pitch placement-ready music for TV. So if that's something you're interested in doing, then you're in the right place. We about to have a good time, and we about to answer questions, get y'all unstuck, and all of that good stuff, man. Shout out to my Sync Producer Hub members in the member-only chat. If you guys have questions at any time during this joint, drop it in the chat, or you can raise your hand if you want to be brought up on audio or video. It's your choice, or you can just type it in the chat. Either way, we're going to get those questions answered. Let me see what we got in the building, man. So far, we got Larry Bradshaw. What's good? We Bro Productions is definitely in the building. What's up? My guy Michael Connor is back. What's good? Happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday again. Super excited. We got G-Fi in the room. We got Jeremiah. We got well, I already shouted those two out. We got BFL Entertainment, Peace Vic and Devontae from Pennsylvania locked in. That's what's up. Love to see it. We got Mims Beats in the building. What's up? What's up? Super excited. Good evening, creative. Justin P, surviving hurricanes down here. Justin, man, listen, I hope everybody, all the Floridians in this joint are safe after Milton came. Helene and Milton, like, they weren't playing, man. So hopefully everybody's safe. Crazy hurricanes. And yeah, hopefully everybody's safe, man. Aaron Van Lan, what's good? Memphis checking in. Yeah, we got a little bit of the wind and rain, but I think it turned when Helene came through. But that joint was crazy. Studio is water free. Thank the Lord. I'm in Orlando, man. That's what's up. Yeah, that's a win. Like nobody, like water in studio just does not mix in any situation, as I literally just took a sip of water in my studio. But a lot of water that's not contained with studios is not a good mix. So all right, y'all know how we do. We start the show off by sharing some wins from the community. So I got a couple to share. This is literally becoming a weekly thing, which is awesome. I mean, it's just awesome. Every week we're sharing some type of win. So let's see. We got Kelvin Ray's in the building. He says, first placements and more to come. Trust in God. Amen, Kelvin. He says, all glory to God. I found out I landed a placement on Love is Blind season 7. Congrats, DJ Horn. As I was watching it with my wife. It's such a cool feeling. Big shout out to Clint for believing in me and reaching out to me to work on it with him. Yes, this was a collaboration between Kelvin and I. It's truly an honor. It's the 4th placement so far with the same track. God is good, and I can't stress that enough. So the first time we found out that this song was placed, it was on BET, 2 episodes of Tyler Perry's Sisters. And then it was crazy because what was this? I think this was last week. It kind of happened like live. I can't remember if we were doing music reviews or if we were doing the podcast. I can't remember, but he was texting me while I was streaming, and he's just like, bro, like, did you use a loop? Like, was this a loop you used in the track we did? And I was like, nah, bro. Like, listen, if y'all been listening, like, at least for 3 weeks in a row, you know, like, I just stay away from royalty-free loops, melodic loops, samples. Like, I just stay away from all of it when it comes to sync. So I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I literally, like, sat here, like, played that, like, came up with it and played it. So he's like, man, dude, like, I'm watching Love is Blind. It was like, it sounds just like it. It was like a little bit faster, maybe different drums. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I was like, well, like, I'll check it out because I don't know, maybe it was a popular progression. So I'm like, maybe somebody just, you know, used the same progression and just had a similar vibe. It's happened before. Just check recent lawsuits. But So I'm like, I'll check it out. He's like, nah, bro, this has to be ours. And then he sent me a video clip, and literally it was that song again playing on season 7 of Love Is Blind. Now this is the kicker. This is where it got super interesting, because I said while I was streaming live, I was just like, yo, like I'm gonna go, because I usually watch that show with my wife, and I was just like, I'm gonna go, we're gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna point the track out. So I go upstairs that night after the stream. She's already watching the episode. First off, she started the show without me, number one. So yeah, Mrs. Clint. So she was already on episode 3 of the show, and it was literally like not far after when our placement played. So I was like, were you watching the stream? Like, did you, like, how'd you know? And she's like, no, like, I'm just watching the show. I was like, we literally just found out we got a placement on this exact same episode. So it was wild. It was wild. So shout out to Kels. And then we had the third or the fourth placement, because it got placed 2 times on BET. The fourth placement was Fight for Paradise, which is I think it was some show in Germany, because this language is unreadable by someone who doesn't know German. But usually when things pop up on TuneSat, it says like the country or whatever. So some reality show, I'm guessing, in Germany, which is wild and random. It's so random. You just get stuff in random countries that you had no intention on placing or producing for. So love that. So yeah, man, congrats to Kel Keys, man. That was like his first group of placements, and yeah, apparently they just keep coming in for him. So that's exciting. Great songwriter. Tap in with him if you need some lyrics and some vocals. Yeah. And I think the crazy thing though, it is like a further backstory to that. That was a part of these songs, the songs that, or this song that we worked on specifically. That was a part, I think that was a part of, I was a part of a writing camp, and we were supposed to be paired up with, like, a producer would pair up with like a singer-songwriter. Well, my partner didn't show up, like, just went ghost. And like the publishers was like, we don't know what happened. He confirmed, blah, blah, blah. Just never showed up, never emailed, just no call, no show. My first thought was like, I hope bro is okay. Like, that's not normal to just go ghost on an opportunity. And this was like, this was a very, very specific writing camp for a major film production company. Like, I have no idea what happened, but I was just like, hey, I know some writers. For me, I seen it as an opportunity to give somebody else an opportunity. So I was like, yo, I know some dope writers, let me reach out and we can just create these songs. I'll work with them. I'll deliver you the final product. So we did it. We made it happen. Kelvin was one of those writers. We made it happen. Now he's sitting on 4 placements. So shout out to Kel. All right. So Justin P says, I hate when they do that. I know, right? Crazy stuff, man. All right. Let's see. I think we got some other wins in here. Jacob. Dove Award-winning Jacob. It's his title now in the community. All right. WWE SmackDown ad. He says, and I quote, so I'm a pretty big wrestling fan. WWE has a new brand called NXT. It's their talent developmental brand. It's basically a training program for new talent. In recent years, NXT has absolutely blown up and now have their own show on CW. I woke up this morning and was catching up on the new episode since I missed it live last night, and then I hear a song I did years ago for Audio Wax, which is Universal's sync library, for a WWE SmackDown ad. I was able to screen grab it, and he shared that clip inside a Sync Producer Hub, which is insane. So congrats to Jacob, dude. Justin P says NXT is here in Orlando. I think that's super dope. So that's dope, man. Like, to be a fan of something and to like grow up and hear your music on the same stuff that like you're a fan of and like stuff that you watch all the time, like that's an amazing feeling. Michael Connor says, I know NXT, old school WWE fan here. Wow, congrats, Jacob. I smell what you're cooking. Justin P says, congrats. So yeah, man, congrats to Jacob. Another win. And then we got a upgrade win. Shout out to Angel. She says, well, I pulled the trigger and upgraded my system. Basically, I had no choice because my 2015 MacBook Pro was not being supported on a lot of things. So I saved and did some side gigs. And here we are. She got a new MacBook Pro, was 16 inch, 64 gigs RAM, Sequoia, 1 terabyte SSD, and bought an extra 2 terabyte SSD and enclosure for storing those files. And then she says, now the transferring of data. Yeah, I know that was a task. But with those SSDs, it probably won't take too long. So congrats to Angel with the upgrade. We all know how important that gear is. Like, that machine, it's got to be able to handle the projects that you're working on. And we all know, as I have this love-hate relationship with Apple, man. I love Apple products. I love the ecosystem, but they will find a way to make your machine obsolete, and you have to upgrade. You have no choice. And the machine will continue to work flawlessly. I have like a late 2008 MacBook in here. It's not even a Pro. It's just the MacBook. And it works. But I just can't upgrade any software or anything. It's crazy. It's not even that slow. So yeah, 64 gig is serious nice. Yeah, she's set for sure. SSD for contact is important. Yeah, essential for sure. Fantastic upgrade. Sounds great, says Michael Connor. I hear that the M1 is still the best for Logic in terms of performance versus efficiency cores. Yes, I've had not many issues dealing with M1. It's been smooth. So for the most part, I don't, some little weird things with Logic, but no, I wouldn't even blame it on Logic. I'll blame it on Contact. I've been having issues with Contact. Logic has been pretty stable these days, so we'll blame it. So, all right, y'all. Those are the wins, man. Shout out to everybody inside the Sync Producer Hub. If you're not in there, if you want more information on how to get in there, just go to syncproducerhub.com and get details there. Let's answer some questions, man. If you guys have questions about Sync, how to get your music placed in TV and film, what's stopping you from getting your music placed in TV and film, drop them in the chat, and let's see if we can help some people get a step closer to their goals. Just like, you know, some of these producers who are sharing wins in the community. G5 says, I have a mid 2012 G5 Mac Tower with 128 gigs of RAM, and it still works, but use my Mac Studio because of compatibility issues with today's music software. Gee, I understand 100%. I was just having this conversation with someone, and I was talking about that G5 tower. I was like, bro, I gave that tower away. I was like, it was still working, and I'm convinced it would continue to work today. But the compatibility, man, like I had to upgrade certain things software wise, and it just like forced me out of it. But those G5s, man, workhorses, like they're heavy too, but man, those were solid, well-built machines. I love that G5. I got a good deal on it too when I bought it used. Got a great deal on it, like a dual monitor setup. And I used that thing until I couldn't anymore. In fact, my first placement was produced on that G5. Yeah, did a lot of, like, that was like the biggest thing in my car when I moved to Atlanta, was that that G5 tower. It was like I was it was clothes, clothes, like some dishes, some food, keyboard, and then like this massive G5 on the back seat. Crazy. All right, let's see. Ken Anderson says, lately been hearing that BMI is better than ASCAP for sync payment wise. I know you are CSAC, but do you have any thoughts on this? You know what? I hear the same thing. I hear the same thing. Now, I don't know, like, I haven't been able to do like a comparison, which I want to do. I was talking, I don't know, like a couple months back about like possibly doing some type of experiment to where, you know, maybe I'll sign my kids up with like, sign one up with ASCAP, sign one up with BMI, and then put all of us on like the same track, and then, you know, try and get that track placed. And then when we get royalties, like I have access to all the royalty statements, so then I can see exactly what the difference is in pay. So I want to do that. I'm going to work on that, and see what I have to do to make that happen. Because I think it would just be a cool experiment, honestly. Like, more than anything, it's just like we can just get a clear visual where all else is the same, and then since it's 3, I'll probably just do that weird 33.33333 infinity split just to make it even, like as even as possible. So I don't know. I don't have any like solid proof but I've heard from writers who were with CSAC and then switched to BMI, and they said they noticed a difference even with BMI being more than CSAC. I've heard some stories about ASCAP. You know, I mean, you hear things from like both sides, but you know, we'll see. Also, I don't know because I know BMI kind of they did some things, you know, some business moves and things like that. So I don't know if that affects anything as far as royalties, but yeah, I'm curious to see. Mims Beat says, should I make 60-second, 30-second, and 50-second versions of a beat and stinger for a higher chance of placements? So you will have a higher chance of placements if you create more versions. When you create them is the thing. Now, I don't start off creating a track. If I don't know who it's going to, I'll create the music first, send the full track, pitch it, and then once I figure out who's going to sign that track, then I'll worry about deliverables and versions, because it could vary from company to company. So that's the step I do, you know, once track is approved. They're like, hey, let's move forward with it. You know, we need these deliverables. Then that's when I'll do it. But what I will say is be prepared to absolutely create different types of versions: a 30, a 60, a 50-second bumper, stinger, alternate mixes, all of that stuff. Just have that in mind. Even when you're organizing your session, just kind of think about those. You know, have all your synths in one section, all your drums in one section, vocals, so that when it is time to go in and create those, everything is already organized. It won't take you as long. I can't imagine. Like, I've seen some crazy sessions in my career. Like, it's just craziness. And I don't know how anyone would be able to function being unorganized in sync, because of, like, you know, the just the things we have to do. Man, I mean, organization is going to be your best friend if you're trying to work in sync. I can only imagine, like, just going through some of these sessions and trying to find all of the like sounds with no titles or anything on the tracks. So yeah. LV Drizzle Music says, much love, tapping in with y'all. Then I'm gonna watch on TV. Couldn't wait to share some wins. 3 tracks made into a major library. Rinse and repeat. So we'll see what happens. Let's go. We got a win from LV Drizzle Music. Congrats. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's the start. You can't get to the placements until you get the music in the hands of the people that can place it. So love to see that work being put in. And getting those sync deals. G5 says I bought mine used also for about $1,800 and upgraded from there. Love it. Michael says G5 was the one. It was, man. When Apple went to Intel chips, it was the end for a lot of G4, G5 owners. I agree, man. And you see, they made their way back with the M1 chips, and I'm happy. I'm happy with that because even on like my Intel machine, man. I have a Hackintosh. I built a Hackintosh. That was the one I was using before the M1. And that one it was still run. But when it came to doing stuff like this, like streaming, some video editing, and I had I forget what processor, but it was a decent processor. It could handle it. But it was just always some type of like lag or glitch, and I couldn't get around it no matter what, buffer size or nothing I would do would fix it. Then I got the M1 smooth. I talked to somebody else who had an Intel Mac Mini. They were having the same issue, so I don't know what it was, but I'm glad they went back to just doing everything themselves, putting their own chips in there. So yeah, whole submission game getting first placement uphill. Oh yeah. Did we submit questions here in this chat, or is there another place? Oh no, Jordan. Yeah, you can definitely drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. All right, B-Rad Tunes and stuff says I'm stuck selecting appropriate plugins. I'm overwhelmed with what's out there. Literally tons of companies, and each company has tons of selections. Am I making this too difficult? I feel stuck. Yes, analysis paralysis for plugins. Or what did Flares call it? What do y'all call it? We have Flares came up with an acronym, and we use it in the community. I forget. Where there's gear acquisition syndrome. And then somebody created PASS, plugin acquisition syndrome. That's what you're suffering from, B-Rad. And here on the Music Is My Business podcast, we help you navigate through your plugin acquisition syndrome. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do, man. This is how you get past it. You got to find those core plugins that it's like your meat and potatoes. Like for me, I have a couple go-tos for certain things. I have some go-to compressors. I have some go-to EQs. I have some like go-to whatever things I put on a kick or drums or whatever. I have some go-to things, right? And then I stick with that for a while. Occasionally I'll play around and experiment with some new things, or maybe just like get another group of go-tos at some point where it's just like, okay, I'm bored with it. Like, let's try something else. That happens from time to time, but get you just some core plugins that like, boom, like I just know these work, they get the job done. And then try, and I say try because it is challenging, try and ignore everything else and just create the music. Because it is a lot of stuff, man. It's overwhelming. And you think, like something new came out. I got to get it. Listen, even with DAWs, man, like I'm a Logic user, but these DAWs, sometimes they pull me in, man. They pull me in. And it's like, Ableton. I went to an Ableton event, and that was a mistake. And then I went down an Ableton rabbit hole after that. I was just like, what is happening? Like, I'm getting backed up on projects because I'm sitting around fooling around in a new DAW. Don't know what I'm doing. But it's fun, you know what I'm saying? Just to experiment. But then, did y'all see Studio One Pro 7. That update was crazy. I was looking at that like, I don't know. She's all right. But I gotta get back focused. Let me get back in Logic, man. Let me not stare at that too long, because I'll mess around, and next thing y'all know, y'all watching me cook up live in the hub, and I'm on Studio One optimizing a workflow somehow. So, sometimes, man, you just gotta ignore the stuff, man. Pick your go-tos, run with those, and keep it moving, man. But that Studio One, yeah, I think they fixed the issue I had with it in the past. It was like it was in the mixer thing where your plugins, your inserts, I had to click like too many times to like open things up. I didn't like that. Whereas Logic, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Pro Tools, boom, 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 boom. Like it's just all in a row. I really like that. I think they fixed that. Like I was looking at some screenshots, just dealing with my own plugin acquisition syndrome, and I was just like, man, I think they fixed that. I also like that you can. I always like the fact that they have like shortcut presets from other DAWs. Everybody should have that. That's especially when you hop between two DAWs. Like for me, it's like Pro Tools, Logic. To just have one set of shortcuts is super convenient. And I think you can customize them, in Logic. But I mean, who wants to do that when you just click a button and boom, your presets are there? So I don't know. All right, so Jordan Harris says, how do you get to the point to where you're getting sync briefs as opposed to submitting to libraries? Do briefs come directly from music supervisors? That's a great question. Some libraries will send out briefs regularly. Some don't. Some will send when they get briefs in from music supervisors, and then they forward those briefs to everybody on their roster. So it's a combination of all of the above. I would say to be at the top of the list for consideration for briefs, submit regularly to those companies. And then when they see you're being consistent, even when they're not submitting briefs, then that's going to that's going to look really good to them. And then when briefs do come up, they're like, yo, this guy's always submitting stuff, like good quality music on a consistent basis. We haven't even sent this dude a brief in years. And it's like, let's send him something. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say in regards to that. Like, that's how you start getting briefs and like staying top of mind, is just by submitting the music and being consistent before the brief even shows up to your email. And then just reaching out. Hey, you have like, what are your current needs right now? How can I help? They may be sitting on like 7 briefs, and for whatever reason, it could be anything, man. It could be a tech issue with the email, and it's like, oh, we thought you were getting the emails, my bad. And then boom, you're back in the rotation. So yeah, just depends, man. Some companies will send them out regularly, some don't. It just depends. Some it's just like, hey, you just upload whenever you want. We'll just send it out when we get it. So depends. Happy Friday. Love has limits. Welcome to the stream. Mikey, what's up? Hey Clint, hope you're doing well. Thanks for always dropping knowledge on music sync licensing. Absolutely, Mikey. Glad I can help. I'm literally learning and reminded right now how important organization is in sync. Yes, it's critical, man. Gas. So you gotta pass gas. Yes, you got to. I'm on. That's gonna sound mad random in context listening back on this podcast. Like, yes, you gotta pass gas. I'm on a Hackintosh right now. Let's go, Just Jay. Hackintosh gang. Finally hitting the limit on the M1. Flares, what are you doing over there, man? Like stressing out the M1. I can only imagine. This dude is probably like, I don't know, something crazy. Just like in the middle, like in the middle of a glacier in Alaska, recording epic drums for his next trailer, and using the cracking ice as sound design. Meanwhile, the M1 is freezing in the middle of this glacier. Do you still use Slate Digital FGX for mastering? Would you recommend the FGX2? CG5, this is why we have gas now. Because you reminded me of the FGX2. And I made a mental note to circle back around and look at that. Because I seen it when it came out. And I was just like, ooh, I like the way that looks. Do I need it though? Yes, I still use FGX for mastering. It's like my default mastering chain. Sometimes I go back and forth between like these AI mastering plugins. But yes, I have, like, most of my sessions are still using that Slate Digital FGX. I would probably, like, I haven't used the FGX2. My guess, having not used it, but having used the first one, I would probably recommend it. I really like it, man. Because it kind of, you kind of have everything like in this one little rack. And it's just, I like it. I like the results I get from it. Had to deliver and turn around a super urgent AAA trailer in 2 hours, and Logic kept freezing. I guess you're not supposed to use all the plugin slots on the master. Like, they give you a certain number of slots, but technically you're only supposed to use like half of them. But doesn't it seem like when you're actually trying to get work done, that's when the DAW, at least, I don't know, maybe it's a Logic thing. Logic just has something in it to where it's just like, oh, they're trying to actually like get something done quick. Let me slow down. It happened to me. What was that? Last week, I was just like, boom, I got like 30 minutes. I want to knock out 8-bar hook real quick. Boom, set everything up. I'm moving fast. It's like when you move fast, you feel like things are just happening fast. Well, kind of is, but yeah, I was moving fast. I opened up Logic and came to a halt. Like, technical issues galore. It's just like, we're not getting it done today. So hopefully you actually got that done, man, in spite of Logic freezing. The new Ableton move and the Poland P6 got me shook. I seen that Ableton move. I haven't seen the Roland P6 though. Gear acquisition syndrome. Larry Bradshaw says, come over to the light, doc. Studio One is the absolute truth. Man, it's tempting. And I also have a download of Luna. I downloaded one of my mastery students a few months ago had mentioned it. He was like, yeah, he was like, you like download it for free. I was like, it's free? He's like, yeah. And it's like, it's like a DAW, but it kind of gives you like this analog vibe, I guess. So I thought that was interesting. But I downloaded that because I just wanted to play around with it. I just haven't had time to yet. So I may crack that open. Studio One, it's tempting. It's tempting, Larry. Like, it's tempting. And they're like, I feel like in one single shot, they came for every DAW. They were just like, you know what? Drop the update. It was like a red button, and they was just like, push that joint. And it's priced. It's $199, which I think isn't Logic Pro $199 one-time fee. Super reasonable, man. I don't know if you have to pay for updates. Do you have to pay for updates with Studio One, Larry? I know Logic, it's just once you buy it that one time, we've been getting Logic updates since the beginning for free, like all the major updates. So yeah. Shortcut presets exist in video editing software like Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. Would be nice to have that in music DAWs. Exactly. It just makes sense. That's what. Yeah, Studio One with that. I'm not sure if other DAWs do it. But that's a win, man. Like every DAW needs to adopt that. Flares with like 1,000 tracks on the M1. Facts. F1 doesn't stand for Formula One. It's the Flares One chip. He needs his own special chip from Apple. He needs his own chip. He's pushed the M1 to the max. He said, you know what? Y'all need something more powerful. And y'all know how Apple likes to like do a comparison between like a 2008 MacBook and like a 2024. And they're like, it's a 987 performance increase, 987% performance increase. Like, I guess it would be from like 15 years ago. Apple be clowning, man. And we still buy their products faithfully. Oh, man. I don't know why they do things like that. It's like, come on, man. It's like, make the number look bigger. Going harder on Beattober. I'm pitching every single one of those tracks. Let's go. Anybody else participating in Beattober? It's when you like make a beat every day of October. Miguel is doing it. It sounds like he's all in. It's day 11. He's about to be sitting on like at the end. How many? It was like 31 days in October. Like by the end of October, he'll have an entire catalog of music. Like 30. That's a solid number of tracks. That'll be crazy. Like that'll be the bulk of your placements next year, Miguel. Like the work you did in 1 month will be on his royalty check for all of like the next 3 years. He's married to Ableton and FL Studio. Your opinion on Lander for mastering, particularly AI for quick turnover time? I love it. Lander's mastering plugin is legit. I compared that to what I have currently, like what I use typically with the FGX and some other things on that mastering chain, and I don't think anyone normal would notice a difference. I couldn't even notice the difference. I'm like, this works. Like, so that's why I was just like, I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes like when I'm working off templates, stuff is just already there, and like when I'm just trying to hit a I'm trying to hit a deadline, I just don't even mess with anything, so it just stays there. But sometimes, I just remember, oh shoot, like let me play around with this real quick, and I'll just throw it on there. Or if I'm doing some stuff on the I did some stuff on the iPad and I used the Logic's AI mastering, and it was pretty cool. Now I was doing like kind of like a side by side on a mix with Logic's AI mastering plugin and Lander's, and I liked Lander's a little bit better. I can get a similar sound, excuse me, a similar sound, but Lander's I think had a couple more parameters that you can kind of tweak, that I like, that Logic's native one didn't have. But listen, if you're trying to get something mastered, you're not trying to send it to a mastering engineer, or you're short on time, Logic's built-in AI mastering plugin will get the job done. Lander's AI mastering plugin, it'll get the job done. Yeah, great options, especially for quick turnaround. I went to the Apple store to check out a MacBook Pro again, aka test the stem splitter. M3 Pro with 48 gigs was bouncing tracks before I could click on file. Lightning fast. That's insane. That's crazy. We need that. Like, we all need that. Do you imagine? Like, not that, like the M1's not slow, but I can only imagine what an M3 Pro with 48 gigs is like. Okay, so Larry says you do have to pay for the updates, but they're very affordable. Okay, that's not bad. And it's not like, it's not like we have to upgrade all the time. Every time something comes out, I usually don't like to do that. Apple, I'll install Apple upgrades. Like I feel I rarely have run across an issue because I mean it's Apple made, so it's gonna do its thing. So, but yeah, like Pro Tool stuff. Yeah, I rarely update stuff like that, man. Once it's working, we just gonna let it work until it's not working. Flair says Clint's magic. He memorizes all 4 DAWs shortcuts. My brain would melt. No, I don't, man. Like, listen, I'm in like, I'll hop from like Logic to like Final Cut Pro and then like Ableton, and I'm using all of their shortcuts within all 3 of them and just messing stuff up, man. I done butchered some stuff fooling around with all these shortcuts. So I would not recommend, using a bunch of DAWs and a video editing app and trying to remember all those shortcuts, because you will screw something up. I done deleted stuff when I was trying to splice it and cut it. I've done weird things to where like I unlocked secret shortcuts that I didn't even know like you could do, just hitting another DAW shortcut in a different app. It gets weird, man. Apple doesn't to ask for money for their upgrades. They got our bank accounts with their phones and computers alone. Yeah, facts. Like you double tap a button on the side and it's done. It's crazy. Mikey, I'm part of the community on Discord. You got it, man. You got to get in Sync Producer. We migrated, Mikey, like months ago, bro. You gotta join us on the new joint. We moved to a new neighborhood. Recently created a Disco account. What are some important things to add to my profile in your opinion? Man, just like a dope clean photo. Contact information is probably gonna be the most important. Put that before you put a picture up. Like that's how important it is. Contact info. And then music. I mean, that's it, man. Like Disco is simple. Like it's there to share music, build playlists, things like that. Unless you're doing like the fancy, library setup thing, which I haven't done that yet. I need to play around with that. But like if you're just sharing it, using it to pitch stuff, name, contact info, PRO info, which I think you kind of put in there anyway with the writer stuff, metadata for the tracks, profile picture. That's it, man. Maybe, yeah, that's about it. Like I know on one, like maybe a very short bio. And that's it, man. It doesn't have to be crazy. Music's gonna be the most important part. Tatro, the one who created the Beattober movement, is a super dope dude. Love it, man. Shout out to everybody doing Beattober. Oh, maybe that's what he's talking about. The Beattober Discord. My bad. I'm tripping. How important is mixing and mastering for sync stuff when you're trying to hit deadlines? Can you get away with not doing a mix? So this is a great question, Jordan. When it comes to like the deadlines, get it as good as you can get it with the time that you have. Like attempt to mix it. Don't not mix it because you still want to kind of like make a good impression. So like what I'll do, say, let's go with the 2-hour turnaround joint, which is like, that's real life. I think Flair's mentioned it. I know I've had some 2-hour turnarounds in life. Get it as good as you can get it to sound like decent, get the volume at a decent level, and just do like, just do your rough. If you're working off templates, it'll be a little bit easier. Usually I'm starting, I have, stuff in place, and then submit it, man. And, try not to think too deep about it. Cause honestly, what it'll do, if you can just get it in there, you at least kind of buy yourself a little more time. Cause most cases they'll hit you back with some revisions, right? And then now you got more time, but you at least got it in. What you don't want to do is just like not submit to the opportunity because the mix isn't like your best. Just submit it, man, and just hit the deadline. And then whatever happens from that point, will happen. But that's how I try and approach it. And then, if they hit me back with revisions, dope. I got more time to kind of tweak this mix and get a little bit better. And that's what we kind of do. Good question. Shout out to Disco. I want to get into Logic, but I'm so used to Ableton and FL. I feel you, man. I understand. Future Tech M50 Pro chip. The computer reads your mind, exports tracks on command in a jiffy. Man, the day that happens, the workflow is going to be insane. You can think of the stems you need and it bounces it out. Also, channels and folders is great for organizing your projects, playlists, tracks, and stems. Yes. Shades of Sync in Puerto Rico. I'll be your tour guide. That would be fire. That would be fire. I'm gonna hit up Jay like, yo, trying to do Puerto Rico in 2026. 2025, we have an idea of another city that we might bring it to, but we'll see what happens. But that would be fire. Just take Shades of Sync international. Speaking of Shades of Sync, if you have not gotten your ticket, you're running out of time and you might not get one. So go to shadesofsync.com, register for this conference. November 8th, the night of November 8th, we're going to do like a pregame, right? And we're going to get together virtual. It's going to all be online on the 8th. We're going to get together, bringing in some guests, some super dope guests, and we're going to listen to music, feedback sessions, and just hang out. It's going to be dope. And then on November 9th, all day, y'all kicking it with us. We're going to be in the room with some super dope people, some super dope minds, creatives, executives in sync, and we're gonna uncover some untapped opportunities, man. We've been talking, we're collabing with Major Minor, and we've been talking with them, and the conversation we've been having about some of the opportunities is like, yo, didn't even think about that. Most people don't even know about this stuff or even how to approach it. So yeah, we're gonna have like a panel like focused on that, and it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. Some dope giveaways. I was actually just talking to one of our sponsors that's sponsoring some gear. Speaking of gear acquisition syndrome, we gonna have some dope giveaways. So make sure you are in the building. Go to shadesofsync.com, grab your tickets, and I'm looking forward to meeting y'all in person, man. It's gonna be fire. Zoom in on Logic is different than Final Cut Timeline. Why? I don't know, Flares. I have this same gripe. I have the exact same issue. Why? Can it not just be the same? Yeah. Little things, man. They make a big difference. Lorenzo says I'm gonna miss it this year. It's all good, man. Maybe next year, Lorenzo. You still with us in the community, man. Like we see you at least, in the streams, man. But yeah, it's gonna be dope. Any other questions? We got a few more minutes. I may be able to knock out a couple more questions before we leave. Thank you, Legendary LW, for dropping that in the chat. After this, y'all want to stick around too, because we're gonna do our own little personal music reviews at, I was gonna say 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock Eastern time from the community to see if your music is ready for TV and film. Speaking of gear acquisition syndrome, this is a thing, man. Gas is a thing. Have you seen the Rolly Airwave where you can make music using hand tracking gestures? Yes, I have, G5, and that is amazing. That's something else, man. Yeah, I seen that. That is crazy. Same. Have yet to try it too. Clint, do you do movie scores? Movie. I have not done a movie score. I have done documentaries. That's about it. I haven't done movie scoring. Honestly, I have to be honest. I have to be honest with myself. I don't know if I really want to do movie scores. I don't know if that's... I don't know. I really like the production aspect of just like producing the music. I'll do some light scoring on documentary shorts. I don't know if I want to do a whole movie. I like to make the music and then, you know, pitch the music, and then the music gets placed. Yeah, because the workflow with the movie score is different. I mean, I've scored like in episodes, like, you know, episodes of a show, and it was a cool experience. I appreciated the experience, but it's different. It's not just sit down, create music, pitch it. It's like, it's different because you have the workflow is different because you have the film, right? So I would drag the film in Logic, and then I'm watching this film with no audio whatsoever. And I'm like, you know, I have the notes of what they want and where. The weird part is the tempos are different. So you have this one movie file in a session, and you're creating multiple cues throughout the episode. These cues are different tempos, different instruments. So like I sat there for at least 30 to 45 minutes trying to wrap my mind around how I wanted to approach this. Because like in my mind, I'm used to, this is the tempo, done, right? Maybe I've had some sessions where like a song changed the tempo halfway through the song, or, you know, something like that. That's easy. But I was just like, how am I going to do this? So I think what I ended up doing was, shout out to Logic, because you can do alternative sessions within the same session. So I did that, and then I just worked on each cue in each alternative session. And then once everything was, wait, no, how did I do that? See, I just reconfused myself. I think I ended up exporting the session that I had with the video into just the music, so I could just focus on the music. Got the track all finalized, and then I drug the track back in as just a stereo track, and then moved it where it needed to be. But yeah, man, it took me a minute to like figure out and think through how I wanted to do that. Listen, this right here, SMPTE lock is your key. It really is. Because I did a sound design project for an ad, and that anytime they made an edit, I learned a lesson, like, don't start adding sound design in music until they freaking finalize their their video, because they kept going back, and the client was asking for video changes, so the video editor kept hitting me up with new videos. I'm like, bro, fam, I have to change things or these sound effects and where things happen because it's happening at a certain time. We both were just going back and forth changing stuff, which is, it is what it is. It's just a part of the business. But I was just like, on my end, I'm not starting until y'all lock that video in. But yeah, man, having that stuff locked, because if you shift one little thing, it's throwing your the alignment off of everything. So yeah, man, it's different. It's different. It is different. Flair says most tedious thing is remixing old songs for trailers. Yeah. The BPM is never what the internet says, and you have to manually quantize with flex points every bar. Yeah. It is tedious, man. Cause just like, you gotta reimagine the thing. Then you gotta get that BPM thing. That probably takes the longest, man, because you're like, you got your click track going. You're trying to make sure it's like click, 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 click. And then that last third or fourth click is not quite on, and you're like, So yeah, flex points are a lifesaver for sure. Let's see. But yeah, I like the documentaries are cool. Episodes cool. Movie, I don't know. Not right now. I don't think I'm ready for that at this moment. How's the sports album coming along without the horns? It's coming along. I don't know what I was thinking. I went and laid an idea down. I think it was like the end of last week. So I opened a session, and my to-do list for this, it was a couple days ago. I was like, I'm gonna go and finish this track. I opened the track. Fam, tell me why. It's strings, brass. I'm like, no, what was I thinking? I can't use this stuff in this. So I listened to it for a while. I was like, I have two choices. I can either swap these sounds out and then pitch it for this project, or keep this as is, send it somewhere else. So I opted for the second option. I'm gonna keep it as is, and I'm gonna just use it for something else. So then I created another idea, but it's coming along. It is coming along. So that's it. Great questions tonight. Shout out to everybody, man, for coming through. We are about to transition into live music reviews. So make sure you stick around on this channel. Catch me on YouTube if you are listening to the podcast, if you want to join us live for these streams. And yeah, that's it. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.